What is life?
What is life?
What's the deal with life? Is it a cereal? Why the bomb? Where's the rush?
All right, you kind of switched references there. What's the deal with Jerry Seinfeld? Am I supposed to be funny? I don't know.
I think he's funny. I like Jerry.
What's the deal with stand-up comedy? It's supposed to be funny, but it's mostly really sad. That's open mic nights.
Yeah, you sound like Shaggy there.
Like Scoob. Like what is the deal? Like Scoob, what's the deal with ghosts? Anyway. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is the Adventure Twins podcast. Two twins who talk about one of our favorite TV shows, Adventure Time. I'm Jacob.
I'm John.
And in today's episode, we are going to talk about Season 1, Episode 15, What is Life? This episode was released on June 14th, 2010, written by Luther McLaurin and Armin Mirzayan. And in this episode, Finn creates a never-ending pie-throwing robot and brings it to life to... I didn't write down a plot this time.
That's
he
okay.
creates a robot.
That's the plot.
Yeah, he creates a robot to prank Jake. That's the plot.
That's it. And they try to get him powered up a little better because he doesn't really work at first. So they have to go bum powers from the Ice King to power up Nepter, who is the never-ending pie-throwing robot. Nepter. You can see how that works.
Yeah.
To prank Jake better. You mentioned June 14th. Happy Flag Day, everybody.
Happy Flag Day. That was the day we were supposed to be born.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of supposed to be born, I'm going to cut this out if I don't have it edited by Friday. But it's our birthday today. So, whoa, happy birthday to the Adventure Twins.
That's a fun how do you do.
And I think this episode's like weirdly, just purely by coincidence, an episode about creating life comes out on our birthday. Well, it didn't come out on our birthday. Our episode about the episode, we're releasing our podcast on our birthday. That's purely coincidental. We did not think about this ahead of time.
Came out on the day that we were supposed to be born. So it's a very full circle moment for us.
Yeah, it's just like the moons aligning here. I guess the one moon. We don't have several moons. Yeah,
Jupiter rising. I don't know.
Hey, Mercury in retrograde. That's the extent of my zodiac knowledge or my astrology.
Yep. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I think this one's pretty fun. For it being so early into the show, and with like every other episode being such a, like, it feels like every beat I know because we'd seen them so many. This one, a lot of moments I was like, oh, I kind of forgot that. Like, I remember Nepter, but more from rewatching the show than from like just having like, oh, of course it's Nepter, versus like some of these other episodes where I'm like, I've known these since before I did my full watch of the show a couple of years ago.
I saw the episode title and normally I'm like, oh, I know which episode this is, or even just the still image they give on Max for it. And I looked, I'm like, I have no idea what episode this is. And then it starts, and for a long time, I'm a few minutes in, and I'm like, I still don't know what episode this is.
Yeah, there's bits that I get super familiar.
And
there's a lot of familiar bits from this episode, but like overall, this one does not stick with me. In like watching it, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing against it.
Yeah, it's just my first. Yeah. My first pass through when I watched the show, back when I like watched it start to finish, I didn't really care for this episode because I didn't really care for Nepter at first. Mm-hmm. But that has changed a lot. Like he really grew on me as a character. I love Nepter. I think he's so cute because he comes back. Every character comes back. That's just how Adventure Time works. It 10 seasons long. It's
Yeah,
I
like,
love. I think Nepper's cute. Like I
so
love him.
rarely a one-off character in this show.
No, at this point, expect every character to come back.
Except
Except that
thinking
Ice
back,
King fell. I don't know who that
yeah,
is.
and also thinking back to Witch's Garden. Does that witch ever show up again? I don't think so. And I think
I actually don't think so.
I just edited that episode, and I'm like, man, we both really seem to like this witch character. Neither of us, and I'm like, does not seem to reappear. So I don't know.
I mean, they even take some like one-off characters. I mean, they make fun of that in the one episode where they're like playing with the dolls. They like, look, we even have some of the C characters, the C tier characters. So like, they
I'm excited to get to that
ones.
one.
I'm so pumped for that episode.
We've got like 100 more episodes to record, but
gosh, these seasons got long.
yeah. So I'm just walking through it. What do you think of the way this episode starts? I mean, it's just rainy day at the treehouse.
It starts. It felt very like we're going into this, and I thought it was going to be a bottle episode where it's them stuck in the house. I thought maybe this is the one where they're like imagination around the house
that
or
one's so
whatever,
good.
where it's
Yeah.
just the two of them, which is a great episode. But no, it's Jake's just walking up the flight of, up the treehouse, and Finn's just sitting there playing video games, and he has a garbage bag full of butter.
And it's like,
Just a lot of butter.
hey Jake, what do you got there? Oh, garbage bag full of butter. And just like throws the butter at Jake, and is, oh, I got butter pranked. How did I not see this coming?
I like that implies that butter pranks is a recurring thing that he should have known. It's
Yeah,
well known
it's like
enough.
having a bunch
You
of
should
butter
know what a butter
thrown
prank
at you.
is.
Yeah, it's like it suggests that, oh, this has happened before.
Yeah. So he's pretty pranked, and it's a good one. Apparently for Finn, that's a good prank, and so he's thinking, how do I get him back? Like, how do I one up a butter prank? Because that's top tier.
I think setting up is like, oh, this episode's just about like pranking each other. I'm like, that's a fine enough setup.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could
for
see-
what this is, I'm like 2010, just an 11-minute episode. I'm like, yeah, sure, they have a little prank war. I'm like, that's a fine enough setup.
It's
Basically
very-
not
no.
relevant the rest of the episode.
I mean, it kind of is. I would say it's a MacGuffin because it's driving the plot forward. I learned that term.
Oh yeah, from the podcast. But yeah, it's
Kinda, yeah.
You never see. Actually, no, you never see Finn prank Jake. You hear
you
it at
don't
the end of
see
the
it,
episode.
You hear it.
Which I think's fun to end the episode. It's all off
Yeah.
screen of getting the pies thrown at him.
So Finn's trying to come up with a better prank, and so he's flipping through a book to come up with like, okay, what could be a good prank? And I don't know if you noticed the book, but it shows like a little picture on the right side and then words on the left.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they stop being aligned, and so I remember there's a picture of a battleship and the word said a taco.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
I
wait,
made note
wait,
of
what?
that. Like the words written in the book don't line up. And for the pie, doesn't it just say like, "What up, yo"?
Yes, yeah, I didn't have time to write that down. Yeah, what up, yo? And so
And,
Finn lands on a pie would be equal in humor to throwing butter, which is pretty funny. I mean, classic pie in the face. It's almost
in
as
the
good as like banana in the ear bit. Like, it's funny.
Yeah, it's a good bit. Very like Three Stooges, you know, or I guess just a clown. You just throw a pie at someone. And it's like classic bit. That's a good prank.
That's a good bit. That's a good prank. That's a really good prank.
So he just compiles some garbage. He puts it all together. Little, you know, it's just a microwave with an arm is basically all it is, and then a tin can that he draws a face on. I'm like, yeah, that's life, and it doesn't work. But then it gets struck by lightning. So,
And the lightning, of course, brings Nepter to life because that's how science works.
yeah, So when this episode becomes less of a prank war type episode and more of a bringing something to life accidentally kind of episode, it started making me think of other examples of like, oh, something just got brought to life. Frosty the Snowman
Oh.
was the first one that came to mind. And they brought Frosty to life. And I'm like, I feel like, I mean, unless you want to go as far back and be like, oh, Frankenstein, but that's more like reanimating something that was
mean
dead.
Frankenstein's monster?
Well, Frankenstein is the book I'm referencing. That I'm sorry, Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus.
Of course.
But in more, it's like bringing inanimate objects to life accidentally. So it's a little different from like a Frankenstein monster. So yeah, something like Frosty the Snowman, I feel like is kind of the base, and everything else is just some sort of derivative of Frosty. I don't know where that trope originally comes from, though.
My first thought was Forky from Toy Story 4.
I also wrote down Forky. Big Forky energy.
But big Forky energy. But I mean, that still begs the question of like, what qualifies? This is for a Toy Story podcast. But what qualifies being a toy? Because is it that something has to be played with? Because like Forky became alive and became a toy after being created and being played with by Bonnie. Does anything that is played with qualify as a toy? How does that work?
I think this just points to the whole question of what is life?
Exactly. What is life? And it gets very existential on this, and I wrote that down. I said Neptune is very nihilistic. I know that's not the right word, but he's very questioning of life, and it was until right now that I realized I meant existential.
Yeah, and that's where I got a lot of the Forky energy.
Yeah.
Because Forky just immediately is like, am I trash? What am I? And just starts questioning everything about his existence.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. I was also reminded of that episode of Smiling Friends where they bring a snowman to life, right? And then very quickly teach it like the concept.
He's like a weird, different type of animation too.
Yeah, it's like a stop motion snowman, and they bring him to life, and then pretty much immediately teach it the concept of death.
Yep.
So it just screams constantly because it just got brought to life, and suddenly now it knows it's gonna die. That's a good one.
I thought Neptune gives big Island of Misfits toy vibes.
I also wrote that one down.
From Rudolph because he sounds like it. He's kind of complaining and he's just going on about the different things wrong with him. And especially when he's like, and I can only skirt. That's like very random. Like the Island of
Whoever
Misfits
heard of a Charlie in the box?
I'm a water gun, but I only shoot jelly. I'm just like, that's stupid. But so is like, I can only skirt and only drift.
It,
like
100%. It was the Island of Misfit toys from the classic Rankin and Bass. Did they create it for that? I would imagine so.
I don't know the origin of that. I'm not gonna
From the Rankin and Bass Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop motion, the Island of Misfit toys.
Yes.
That
one, yeah. You know the one.
Anyway, so I don't know. But anyway, yes, they bring Neptune to life, and they're like, "We're gonna prank the poots out of Jake," which I like as a line. So
this whole episode just takes such a shift from like classic prank war and now like literally existentialism. Like,
I think maybe that's why I forget it so much. I don't know
what
about
it's
it.
Not a
I'm
cohesive.
Just, like, I don't
plot.
remember.
But I mean, the pranks are so they eventually they're like, we need to fix Neptune, and the only one we can do it with is by getting power. And they're like, what dweeb has power that can basically do it? So they're like, oh, the Ice King does. So they're gonna go basically to the Ice King and trick him to shooting powers to fix Neptune or whatever. But they're taking these. They get to the Ice Kingdom by taking like a bunch of balloons that are also alive. But these balloons are also good prankers. And so the pranks is still like pretty, that's their goal in mind. The prank is very consistent throughout the whole episode. So it doesn't like go away.
I like the one balloon. It's got a really like detailed face.
I like that one too, as a nose.
Yeah, it's got like a big old Waluigi nose. And I like that.
Yeah, I wrote exactly that. I love the balloons, especially the weird face one with the nose.
And I like that there's more Ice King in this episode, because Ice King's such a great character. And you get a lot of Ice King being an absolute loser. Like, you get some good moments, like him going in, and he's just talking to Gunter, which, have they named Gunter yet?
I don't even know if Gunter's appeared yet.
Because you see penguins in...
You do? I couldn't remember.
I'm pretty sure you see penguins in an earlier episode.
It's definitely the first time they named Gunter. Or is it Gunter?
Gunter.
Two different penguins. Did they say Gunter or Gunter in this one?
I think they said Gunter.
I heard Gunter.
Maybe it is Gunter. I don't know.
Okay, so I wrote this down. The penguins, the name changes a lot, where you could literally argue, is it the same penguin that he just calls different names? Gunter, Gunther. There's a whole bunch of them. He'll just consistently call penguins different names, but I do think they're all separate penguins, but they're kind of like along that vibe of a name. Gunter, Gunther.
Anyway, I like that Ice King is talking to the penguins who don't speak back to him, and he's like, see, that's how it would go if I actually had a wife.
I wrote the same quote down.
Yeah, that's a good one. And so it becomes this whole, like, Finn and Neptune trying to hide in Ice King's castle without getting seen by him. So you get a lot of, like, here's how the Ice King acts when he thinks he's just by himself. And so that's why you get a lot of, this guy's just a loser.
He's a complete loser. He gives Batch Pad vibes. I mean, completely empty space, no decorations, weightlifting. He has a chair to play video games on. And at one point, he's in his bed reading a nudie mag.
Did you notice in the video game that it's like the frog game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a later episode, which this isn't like a spoiler because this one's pretty close to the beginning, but Finn and Jake go into a video game and it's like the same game, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I noticed in the game, Ice King was mentioning magic missiles, which is a D&D spell. It's like one of the, I call them catnips, but I leave it a cantrip, I think is how it's actually said, but my group, we always call them catnips. So I think that's
a little bit of a D&D, which is a clear reference or inspiration of the show.
Yeah, I think it's a level 1 spell, actually. I'm nerding out for a sec. I'm a wizard.
Anyway,
So, Ice King, they're kind of sleuthing around. Neptune is trying to be stealthy, but he keeps, like, shouting out loud, like, I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but, like, he's audibly talking about how they're sneaking around.
Yeah,
like, sneaking, he's sneaking.
He literally, he was born like an hour ago, so that's kind of like a lot of the conflict or humor in the episode is brought around by Neptune is like literally not even a day old, and so he just doesn't know how things work. So
yeah, I thought him announcing they're sneaking, it reminded me of the silent alarm from The Simpsons.
Yeah,
which for those who don't know, it's when you press the silent alarm, a giant alarm starts going off that goes, silent alarm activated.
Silent alarm, silent alarm. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's funny.
So anyway, they keep going through the castle, trying to find some lightning bolts. Neptune gets, an alarm sounds, and they get chased by Ice King in the Isopede, right? Was that it?
It's the Isopede, yes.
Yeah, it's a giant, I want to say skeleton. It's a giant centipede made of ice. And so they end up shooting Neptune accidentally with lightning and realize, oh, wait a second, this is what we wanted the whole time, was from being hit by lightning, which grants Neptune his full powers.
I like when they're running from the Isopede, they're kind of sliding down a giant, I guess, slide almost. It gives like Mario 64 vibes, the one ice level where you race the penguin. Anyways, they're about to crash into a door, and Finn's like, wait, I have a plan. And he does this like sweet loop-de-loop, and the thing that's chasing them crashes in through the door, and Neptune's like, oh, great plan. And Finn's like, nah, that wasn't my plan. I just got lucky.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny, but then I also questioned, what the hell is
what was his plan?
How was he going to get out of that? Because I'm like, oh, that was cool. That was really sweet. I feel like the Isopede, so
I think it's cool.
Ice King goes, Isopede, attack! Isopede, no! Because it attacks him and picks him up.
Yeah.
That was in commercials a lot, so that sound bite's really familiar for me.
Yeah, that one did seem familiar.
Yeah.
I like, we skipped one part of of Ice King talking to Gunter in the mirror, and he goes, ooh, look at you, little fatty. Fatty, daddy's little fatty. He's like, you'll never
write that one down.
You'll never get a taste of the prom with all this flab. And I liked that one because that's 100% how I talk to my cats.
Yeah.
Both my kitties are pretty chunky. Drake actually just went to the vet today. I didn't go with him. I was at work, but Bennett and Drake went to the vet. And Drake is in a good clean of health, was just told that he's pretty chubby and he's gained close to a pound. Probably because he keeps eating his brother's food.
Probably.
And it's that kitten food, so.
Yeah, that kitten chow.
But they're both pretty chubby, and I love holding them up to the mirror and, poking their little flabby bellies, so.
Yeah. We've brought Guinness to the vet, but it wasn't for good things.
Oh.
Womp.
Oh, yeah, I saw Guinness's tail.
Yeah, we called him Rat King because he got his tail wrapped up in gauze, and he went to hang out with Aaron for a bit, and Aaron, our sister, would like rub on him, and Guinness would just like rub the rat tail on her, and she'd go, "It touched me. I don't." And she's like, "I don't like the tail," and I go, "Aaron, you sound like a 4-year-old. Like, I can't like that."
Guinness's tail.
And
Yeah,
like,
it's
he's just a cat. He just wants loving, but it's like he made sure to drag it on you. So I'd be sitting there and he rubs it across my mouth. I'm like, Guinness, you bastard. Like, I don't want your nasty rat tail because you can see the blood stain still.
Oh, gross. Ew.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, both my kitties, they're just chubby. And they've got their little primordial sacks or whatever you want to call them, their pouches.
The primordial pouch, yeah.
Yeah, I call
Patsy has one of those.
I just call them fupas. They run around their fupa shakes. Like they got fat little tummies.
They love when you play with it too. Like I just go
God.
like
You just
that,
flap
they
it
love
around
it.
like it's a nutsack. It's great. Anyway, so does Ice King shoot lightning? I thought he shot ice.
He shot an ice beam, but they're giving lightning vibes the whole episode that he shoots lightning, but it's technically an ice beam.
I don't know. Anyway, so I like when they take down the isopod and it does like an elephant roar.
Yeah.
Oh, because they hit Neptune with the lightning bolt, and Neptune comes, like gains his powers, and so now we can actually throw pie, never-endingly. That's a word.
And yeah,
Yeah.
he does that, and Finn comments that it was a job well done, and Neptune makes the comments that inside the pie was just boysenberries, and also poison. And whoa, that triggers something happening.
Could it have been?
And I thought
poisonberry.
Poisonberries. Did you write that down too?
I did write down poisonberry. I'm like,
I'm
well,
just
the
like
pun was
just
there.
boysenberries and also poison. So poisonberries.
The line was there.
It writes
like,
itself. Writes itself. They make it back to the treehouse. So Finn and Jake's home. They let go of the balloons, and I love what the balloons say. It's like they're like, finally we can return to the
mesosphere.
Mesosphere, and they go, finally we can die.
That line, of all the things in this episode, that was the line that stuck with me the most. Where I heard that, I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar. Finally we can die.
But
so I wrote that
that
down.
loops back to what is life, and then also death, or finally we can die. I don't know. There's a very like life and death cycle in this episode.
Yeah. But anyway, Neptune, who has been hit by Ice King's lightning, I guess starts taking on some of Ice King's personality or his traits, which is wanting to kidnap princesses. Because that's apparently written into Ice King's genetic code.
Yeah.
And so he essentially becomes Ice King's son.
Yes, that's how that works.
Because he's gotten, quote, his private particles.
I missed that line.
Yeah, so it becomes then a fight between Finn and the Ice King of who does Neptune belong to? Who is the true father?
Yeah. Ice King brings Neptune and Finn into his imagination zone, and it's just full of princesses. And he's like, "This could be all yours, son, and I will pass my on to you to capture princesses and to marry one." I'm just like, Ice King, you're a very one-track guy, kind of. Very one-track mind kind of guy.
I forgot the imagination zone entirely. Like that
Really?
I had no memory of that being a thing when they were like going into his mind. And it's cool you see some of the other princesses for the first time, like Muscle Princess.
Yeah. You get a good look at them all.
But
I like how the alternative of like your life if you hung out with Finn would just be this, and it's Jake and Finn pooting on Neptune to the max.
Pooting on Neptune to the max.
Neptune's like, oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so it kind of just ends there.
It takes a lot of twists.
Yeah, Neptune
Probably
chooses
can't
Finn,
remember this one.
and so they chase Ice King away or throw pies at him or whatever. And then you see Neptune and Finn enter the treehouse, and you don't see it, but you hear Jake waking up and getting pies thrown at him.
Yeah.
And then it ends.
Well, it doesn't end. It cuts
Oh,
to
that's right, I
Ice
didn't write that down.
King.
Yeah.
Ice King's having kind of like a. It pans over to Ice King, and he's laying on the ground crying, and it goes into maybe like a dream state or a daydream or maybe a. I'd say like a dream state.
Yeah.
And it's him watching the sunset with Nectar. And he's just happy to sit there with the sun. And it's kind of sad, but it also humanizes Ice King a little bit more. And I think that's a recurring thing we get in these early episodes is Ice King is like totally evil and a total loser, but every time we see into his inner conscience, he seems like a normal person. And he's just concerned and sad and scared.
Yeah, because you get the episode, the third episode, the Ice King one, where you see him and he meets the Cosmic Owl, and it's like it's this very like, introspective. Why does no one like me? Kind of thing.
Is it the beard?
Is it the beard? So you get a lot of like, there's something deeper in Ice King. Even from these early episodes, like he seems very one track, and the whole like his whole thing is kidnapping princesses so one will marry him.
Yeah.
But you get like there's more to this character, and he's just at his core incredibly lonely.
Yeah. At this point in time, I feel like they're just playing it off for like laughs. Like it's not really supposed to. You're not supposed to read into that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think. But like realistically, I mean, he's obviously like one of the biggest characters of the show. They build him a lot, and so they're really just laying the groundwork for Ice King's.
That's kind of what I was kind of thinking. Is like you're building these things so that he can become a likable character of like
likable and multifaceted. Because I think a lot of the characters are way more one note than. He steals princesses, and Jake is lazy, and Finn is obnoxious.
So, I mean, what is life? At what point was Nectar alive? I think that's kind of what the question gets at in this one. Was he alive when Finn brought him to life, or was he alive when he got hit by the lightning and fulfilled his purpose? Is life... Are you not alive unless you're fulfilling your purpose? I would say no. I mean, I would disagree with that idea. I think you're alive whether or not you're fulfilling your purpose, whatever that purpose may be, because obviously that becomes a huge question in life. Is what is your purpose? Mm-hmm. You could have multiple purposes. You could have no purpose, but you're still alive.
You're still alive.
Anyway,
maybe it's a sense of feeling alive. Of maybe he was lost, but he finally found something he enjoyed doing, and he felt alive. And so maybe for him, that's where he was. Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Oh, anything you noticed in this episode? Any like fun moments or whatever we didn't talk about?
I think we covered everything I wrote down. I took a little better notes that actually went in order of the episode, so I think that was better for me. And I was able to hit everything kind of as it happened, so I felt like that flowed well.
There was one little cutaway of they're in Ice King's castle, and Finn says something to Nectar like, "Oh my God, we gotta hurry! Finn might wake up," or not Finn. Finn is like, Jake might wake up at any moment, and it cuts over to Jake, who's taking a day-long nap, and he's like in his sleep. I might wake up at any moment. Nah, I'm gonna go back to bed. And I think that one's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny.
That was a good.
That feels like something we used to do when we'd sleep in the bunk beds.
Yeah.
We were always like goofing off that we were half asleep, but we'd talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I did write. I wrote that down, but I just put Jake may wake up at any moment. I'm like, okay, that's really vague.
Nice and descriptive. Yeah.
Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, I brought up the bringing things to life trope with Frosty.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with like Frosty or Smiling Friends is that at the end of those things, it's about them going away at some point. So, I mean, the Smiling Friends is much more directly Frosty the Snowman.
Clearly. That's
but like with Frosty, the whole thing is like trying to keep him alive, but him kind of coming to terms with like I'll be back on Christmas Day,
Yeah, he'll be back. He's just saying goodbye. So, but this one isn't really about how he's gonna go away. No, it's trying to find that life.
Yeah, find his life beyond just I was gonna say beating heart, but he's a microwave.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is your purpose in life? I guess could be more of a
I was thinking not on this deep of level, but the whole episode does revolve around pranks in some way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, what is the best prank that you've seen or done personally?
I'm drawing some blanks on this one. I'm not much of a prank guy.
Yeah, I wasn't either a ton.
Yeah, I know
we had
that,
this.
we grew up together.
Yeah, I had this one where it was at my bachelor party, and the last person to show up, we shoved him into a wood chipper.
That was a good bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wish Guy were still here. But we pranked him hard. We got him good.
I'm gonna push him into the wood chipper.
It's like, oh, we got to get the wood chipper. Guy's almost here. That was funny.
Was that was that a wedding bit?
That was the wedding bit. Yeah,
I could have sworn that was from camp.
No, that was the whole week. Ryan just insists that we were going to shove Guy in a wood chipper. I'm like, yeah, good bit.
It's a good prank. It's a good prank. Shoving someone into a wood chipper.
Totally got him. I don't know. As twins, we would sometimes, very rarely, prank substitute teachers by switching class. I think we did that the once.
I don't even know if we ever switched classes. It'd be more so. Did we ever switch classes?
I think we did one time in 8th grade. Once.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah, it was Miss Fleming was out, so there's a sub for algebra, and I think managed to do it one time. It was the only time we ever switched classes. And everybody was in on it except, obviously everybody knew who we were, so except the substitute, which is kind of funny. There was that one time where I went to your staff meeting.
That's barely even a... Oh, that was good. That's barely even a prank. We're switching classes for a substitute teacher. They don't even know who we are to begin with, so what's it matter?
Yeah, it's not very funny. It's just because we could, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we did do that once.
Yeah.
When I was an RA, we had to do weekly staff meetings, and John and my dad and Josie were all in town. And I was like, all right, I still have to go to my staff meeting. I can't not go to these. They're mandatory. So John also came to the meeting. Or no, you sat in the meeting for a...
I went in first. I put on your hoodie and stuff, and I sat kind of toward the end of it. I didn't look... I wasn't looking at him the whole time, but everyone there was in on it.
All the RAs knew. Our hall director didn't know. And so goes around, and the meeting has started, and I come in 10 minutes late.
Wait. Before you even get there, we start. I'm like, he's gonna notice immediately. We start doing highs and lows, or just a check-in or whatever. And we actually make it all around the table and get to me, and I just go, I guess my high, just low. I guess a lot of schoolwork this week. High, my family's in town, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I managed to talk to him and give a high and low. Still has no idea that I am not Jacob, and the staff starts snickering, and he's like, "What's so funny?" And nobody notices, and he just
so it's
going.
About 10 minutes into the meeting, and I walk in and I go, "Oh guys, I'm sorry, I was just running a bit late. I'm sorry." And I take a seat, and he still hasn't noticed that I'm already at the meeting, and I just goes, in.
"Oh, that's." He goes, "Oh, that's okay." And now at the table there are 2 Jacobs, and he does not notice.
The rest of us start busting out laughing. And
he finally starts looking around. I mean, no one can hold it. He goes, clearly he knows something. He's like, what is this, guys? And finally makes eye contact with me, and he goes, "Who are you?"
Oh my God, I forgot. What made that even better is there was another twin on the RA staff. I didn't know he even had a twin brother. He sent his brother in place. So I remember I come into the meeting late. I sit next down to him. We make eye contact, and I remember thinking, you don't look the same, Jake." And then his brother Jake comes in, and it was like, "You also have a twin who was also in Pittsburgh right now?"
So 2 twins pulled the same prank on the same meeting. Everyone was in on it except for Jacob and I. Nobody knew for Jake and his twin. And so there's all these extra people. It was chaotic. It was so funny.
That's probably the best prank I've ever been involved in. That was hilarious.
I think so. Yeah, thinking back, that is comedy gold right there.
It's one of those few things. I mean, 2 sets of twins both showing up in switching voices, the same meaning. Hilarious.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was a good time. Anyway,
Other than that, yeah.
you have anything else to say about this one?
Nepter,
Keep throwing those pies.
never forgotten.
Sure.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Adventure Twins.
Adventure Twins.
Yay.